Hey guys and gals, Lee with Seek Outside here, and welcome to Backpack University. In this new video series, we're going to talk about all things Seek Outside backpacks and some general things about backpacking and backpack hunting. So this video is going to specifically be backpack assembly on the Revolution platform. So we've got all of our pieces here: backpack, harness, hip belt, load shelf, frame panel, the actual frame itself, which is an anodized aluminum, cross stays, frame extensions. If we decide to put them in, we'll probably put a couple in just to show you guys how to do it. Hardware to set the hip belt straps, tools. We got the whole nine here. So let's start off with putting the frame into the frame panel. So we are going to lose some of this here. Get it out of the way. Keep these guys here. So first things first, when we're putting in the frame panel, we want to put in the frame attached like this. If we put in one side before the other, it's not going to work. We're not going to be able to get it together because they do pull apart and sleeve back together. This is what allows our frame to articulate and move with your body while you're hiking, climbing, whatever you're doing out there. All right, so first things first, we're going to start to put it in through these loops down here at the bottom. Then we're going to open these Velcro straps here. Our cross stays will go in here, but we'll do that at a later time. Right now we'll just open this up and start the process. So now we are going to put the frame behind what we call the back panel. The back panel is this piece of foam right here that goes in between the 500D Cordura and the frame. So goes in behind it, I should say. So we're just going to push this up through. So you see how I said it, we got to put it in all at one piece, because if now we were going to try to like pull this apart and then put them together, it wouldn't work. Next step, we just open these Velcro straps up here as well. Next step is to put some frame caps on. Your frame will automatically come with these little caps on if we haven't installed extensions already. But if you take it out and these frame caps come off, make sure to just put the caps back onto the frame. That's going to help lengthen the life of this here, from the frame cutting through it if you're putting in hundreds of pounds into your backpack. So now all we're going to do is sleeve the frame up through this little pocket here, and we just call these frame pockets. So set that up. And now we're going to push it in. Before I move on, I'm going to kind of step back and talk about frame extensions. This comes as a 24-inch frame out of the gate with no extensions on it. So if we were to pull it out, and you can do this in the field, this is called our field adjust frame height, or field adjustable frame height. What you'll do is pop these caps off. Pop the caps off and add either a 2 or 4-inch extension. All you'll have to do for that is just sleeve it on top, sleeve another one in, and now that's going to add 2 inches onto the frame height, making a 26-inch frame. Now I'll go back to frame height when we talk about putting on the bag, but frame height will play into how big your torso is as well. I have a 17-inch torso. I'm 5'8", just so you can kind of gauge there. But my torso is kind of a little bit longer than my legs, so I'm not evenly proportioned. Not everyone is, so you've got to take that into consideration. Good way to find your torso height is to take a measurement from the top of your iliac crest all the way to your C7. If you look down at the ground, reach back here, you can feel your C7 kind of poking out. Measure to that. I've got a 17-inch torso. You might have something else. I'm sure you will. But 17 is how we start everything out because it's what we call average. So going to these horizon stays. Notice we have two different sizes. One is for the top, one is for the bottom. So the longer horizon stay, or cross stay I should say, goes down here at the bottom. And you just close these Velcro straps. It just sleeves in to a pocket right here. Push all the way in, close the Velcro straps. Same thing with the smaller one. You'll have a little pocket right here, just about a third of the way down on the frame. Push it all the way through. Make sure it goes underneath the frame so you can see that it's trying to come up over top of the frame. Make sure you just have it underneath the frame. This will keep your bag from doing what we call ballooning. That's just basically getting really big and it starts to encroach into your back, not allowing your back to breathe, and you'll just get a little more sweaty like that. So we've got 2 inches in here. Our 4 inches are right here. This will get you up to a 28-inch frame height. So just keep that in mind. Next, let's move into attaching the frame at the bottom of the Revolution panel. You're going to have a piece of hardware down here on a strap. This will come assembled like this, but just in case you take it off for some reason or it comes off, whether you have to replace it, make sure that when you put it back on the strap, it is situated like so. This will allow you to be able to attach it to the loop here at the bottom of the tail. The frame panel, the Revolution panel, has a little tail at the bottom. So make sure it's situated just like this. So when we attach it, we can reach up underneath the back panel that I talked about earlier, that piece of foam right here, pull it tight, and it's not going to slip back through. And then lastly, we're going to take these straps right here. There are 2 ladder locks that coincide with these straps. We're just going to thread these through. Cinch them down. All right, so now we have built the frame panel, the Revolution frame panel. This is a breakaway system, so we're gonna have to attach the bag at a later time. But first, let's move on to the hip belt. Kind of like what I'd like to do next. So, for the hip belt, we're gonna wanna have our frame like this, because this is the contour of your back. Think of if I'm standing here, it's gonna contour to me like this, not the other way around. So we're going to set it down, and there are 2 holes in the frame. We've drilled these. This is not a mistake. This is how your belt gets attached. Just again reiterating, your belt is going to come attached when you order it, but whether you want to make adjustments or not, you might have to take it off, and this is going to be a good tip for how you guys can put it back together. So on the hip belt itself, there are these 2 pieces of webbing coming down off the bottom, and this associates the bottom. These 2 pieces of webbing down here, and they have 2 different grommets on it. You can take the screws that we provide and put them into one or the other grommet. This will kind of determine on how high or low your frame sits on your back, because you're going to want this to wrap around and be in the middle of your iliac crest. So the center up and down of this hip belt should be about in the center of your iliac crest. For me, That's somewhere about right here without actually having the backpack on. That's somewhere about right here. So I'm gonna put the screw into the top grommet. This is where everything is set up prior. This is where I put it. You can also wrap the hip belt around the frame. So pulling your hip belt down closer, making the bottom of the frame and the bottom of your hip belt more flush. So to do that, you would wrap around. You can even do it like this, lay it flat. Put the screw through the frame, the screw through the grommet, and then attach the nut. As you can see, now the belt is wrapped around the frame and not just sitting on top of it. That's not how I normally do it. I do it just like this and put it on. Just like this. And then screw on my nut. But let me show you the wrap, just because that's a big question for people. How do I do that? I would really like my frame to be flush with the bottom of my hip belt. And here's how you do it. So like I said, we're going to take the hip belt, set it just like this, put that piece of webbing underneath the frame, take our screw through the frame, and now you can see you just got a little bit of the screw sticking out. Take our nut, we can start it with our hand, and that's how we start it. This is about the only thing you'll need tools for, just a Phillips head screwdriver and a crescent wrench. Use a pair of pliers, anything you want really that'll hold it. And then we're just going to tighten down the screw through into the nut. So there we go. We've attached one side of the hip belt. We're going to do the same thing to the other side. All right, the hip belt is fully attached to the frame now, and we've got it wrapped. So if you're wondering how to wrap the frame, or how to wrap the hip belt around the frame, this is how you do it. This is going to make the frame sit a little bit higher on your back. It's going to make the bottom of the frame more flush with the bottom of the hip belt. And if you don't like a frame that rides into your behind a little bit, or maybe it's just sitting a little too low on you, maybe try this method out, see if that helps. Next, guys, this is maybe the most complicated thing on our backpacks, and that is the harness. So we've got our harness here. You can see there's kind of a lot of stuff going on, but we're going to help you with that. So let me move this to a better position. Behind the back panel, this piece of foam that I was talking about earlier, there's two pieces of hardware that are anodized aluminum. These are what we call the harness redirects. So anytime if you're asking a question and we say, oh yeah, the harness redirect, you know what we're talking about. They're on both sides. They coincide with these straps. These are the redirect straps, not the load lifters here, but these ones, the redirect straps. So what we're gonna do is put our harness down just like this. Well, this is how I like to do it. And we are going to thread this strap down through the first slot on the hardest redirect piece of hardware, because the other slot is the way it attaches to the back panel. So we're gonna thread this down through, back out the other side. Now you can see I've got this threaded through there, and it's just this little piece of hardware right there. That's going to come back up, and this is where we can start to set our torso height up on this. So like I said, I'm a 17. So I've figured out that a 17-inch torso is pretty much 2 finger lengths above the bottom of this stay slot here. So if I put my fingers right there, I'm like, that's pretty much 17 frame height setting all day long. Now if you've got an 18, 19, maybe go down a little bit, just start to play around and tweak. Once you've got it from the male, remember they're set to a 17. If you've got a smaller or larger torso size, start to adjust and make little micro adjustments to help get you the perfect fit. Now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So if we were to just put it up like this, put it through all of its buckles and put it on, it will not stay in place. So we've added these harness locking mechanisms here. These are or you might hear us call them corn heads. Maybe if you're talking to us on the phone, you've heard the word corn head before. That's kind of some industry mumbo jumbo for you. What we're going to do is take this strap that we've redirected through the harness redirect and put it through the harness locking mechanism. Now we can pull it and adjust it to where we need it to be. So it looks like we're a little too high right there. I'm going to pull it down to 2 finger lengths above the bottom there. Now, like I said, this is all, we're micro adjusting things. So now to lock it in place, we're going to put it through the last slot on the locking mechanism. So there's 2. You got to put it through one and then the other. And now it is locked in place. So you can see it's threaded up to the bottom and then down to the top. So that side's good. Start on the next side. Make sure we have them even. If you have them uneven, you're going to see some differences in how your load rides compared to your friends there. Next part is to run these straps through these ladder locks at the top. This will help keep our harness suspended, if you've heard that term, suspension. So we're just going to put it up through there, down. This is coming out of our harness locking mechanism. I know there's a lot of technical mumbo jumbo. Stick with me and just try to follow along. So now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Pull it tight. Again, I want to make sure this is tight. So one thing differently we can do with the harness locking mechanism is to run the strap through this loop right here. This will help if you're having trouble with the bag bouncing, or you feel like your suspension is bouncing. You can remove this strap and instead of just taking it from the redirect all the way up to the harness locking mechanism, we're going to run the strap out of the redirect into this loop here. So we're just going to run that up and now back to the locking mechanism or corn head. Make sure I'm still even Steven there. Sometimes you might have to pinch the hardware to get it to open up to get the strap through. That's kind of designed that way because we don't want stuff to come out easily. We want it to be a freak of nature if it comes out. All right, so we've got our suspension, our harness, all tightened up here. Next thing is to set up our load lifters. So our load lifters is how we take weight off of our back or off of our shoulders and into our back, so it's not pulling us down or pulling us backwards. So if you want to change the anchoring point, that's where the load lifter is anchored along the harness. If you want it to be more in front or more on top, the good rule of thumb is you want your load lifter to be anchored about right here at your clavicle, and then have a 45-degree angle from the anchor to where the load lifter is tensioned. So you want a 45-degree angle going from here up to the top of your frame. That's a good rule of thumb to follow, and it's just comfortable for most of the people out there. So if we want to change the anchoring spot, we just move this guy around, whether it's up or down. That's about right for me. And then we're just going to thread it through this locking mechanism similar to on the back of the harness. And then we are going to thread load lifters through these ladder locks. And this is how it's going to lift your load and be really comfortable. Next, we're going to finally attach the hip belt to the harness. And this is how it's going to all come together, and you're going to be able to wear it like a backpack. So we are going to thread this strap through this ladder lock on the harness. So it's going to go up and then down. There's ladder lock, and this is one you might have to pinch just a little bit to really get it through. Success. And then do it on the other side. Now let's attach the load sling. So these will come assembled. Our load slings will, just like everything else. However, we're going to run through it just for a quick overview, just in case you have to change something or just want to play around and see what feels best. We have different loops on the back of the revolution panel. Here, 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 and here. So you can raise the bottom of your load higher on our back, which is where we want it. We want it more towards the center of our back, both from side to side and an up and down standpoint, and closer, because that's what's most comfortable when carrying a heavy load. So I'm going to put it through here just because that's where I like it most of the time. Now we can either run it to these loops, run these straps up to these loops here, or even to the top loops on the top of our revolution frame. But I usually run them here just when I'm not using it. Usually run them up to there when I'm not using it. However, this can now be a fully functioning backpack. With the load sling, we're able to carry a load, or maybe you have a dry bag with some gear in it and want to carry it without having an actual backpack with more weight. That's fine. So we're going to take our prop here, big old tent, and I'm actually going to run it up to the top just because it's a little bigger. So I'm going to run it up to the top of the frame, attach it there, get a little tension, and to the top of this one. And there you go. You are now able to carry a load with this setup. You could probably run some straps along the face here, using these loops. I'll show you that using our racks or our rapid adaptable compression system a little bit later. So let's take our prop out. Thank you, Redcliffe, for your participation. Now I'm going to set this up. We'll get ready to put the bag on. All right, so here's a bag. Our model for today is the Peregrine 3500. This is a breakaway capable bag. So everything on the Revolution platform, if it has this type of frame, it's going to be able to break away. So let's start out with how to attach it to the frame itself. First, we're going to start with the top straps up here and how to attach it to the top of the frame. These straps coincide with the height of your frame. So I have a 26-inch frame. Remember, I added the 2-inch frame extensions at the beginning. So this is our 24 to 26-inch frame height strap. Use this strap when using that range of height. And this is our 26 to 28-inch frame height strap. Use this strap when using a 26 or 28. The 26 is kind of variable depending on the bag. Basically what these do is allow to take out the slack if you've got a longer frame, and if you use this 24 to 26 strap, you're going to have some slack in your bag, which we don't want that. We want it to be taut to the frame. It helps us to compress the bag a little bit better. So we're going to grab this loop in here and run our gatekeeper on our 24, 26-inch frame strap through it and tension it. All right. Next, we're going to add our strap keeper to this strap here. This is going to not let the strap get pulled through the gatekeeper, because we are able to pull it through since we might have to switch our frame height. So I'm going to put this one end of the strap keeper through the hole, pull it through, and just wrap it and attach the Velcro. Just like that. Now I'm going to do that on the other side too. All right, now we're going to move towards the bottom of the bag. So for here, I just like to turn it upside down. We're going to start with these two Velcro straps at the bottom of the bag. We're going to attach these to the frame. And it's kind of a good rule of thumb to do both Velcro straps at the same time. That way, when you go to tighten this next part, you're not pulling the bag away from the other side and then have to readjust it. It's just what I like to do. So next, after attaching the Velcro straps, we're going to take this gatekeeper strap here that's attached to the bag and run it to the loop that's right inside here on this angled piece of Revolution frame. So I'm gonna go take it through there, hook it in, and tension, and do the same thing to the other side. Grab it, hook it in, tension. Now our bag is fully attached to the frame. We could start using this bag essentially. However, there's some other things, other straps that your bag comes with that I would suggest to take advantage of. One of those being the over-the-top strap. So let's roll this guy down. All right, now the over-the-top strap will help kind of keep things clean and not so messy. The over-the-top strap will have 3 gatekeepers on it. It'll be 48 inches long, 2 on the ends and 1 right smack dab in the middle. Basically what you'll want to do is take them and attach them to the top loops at the top of the frame. Now that we've done that, on the Peregrine, we have 2 different attachment points. This won't be the same for every backpack, but it is for this one because of our front mesh pocket here. We can attach it to the loop on the front mesh pocket, or we can attach it to the loop on the face of the bag. I'm going to do the front mesh pocket just for fun. So here we go. I'm going to attach it there. And then tension. This is part of our rack system, or the rapid adaptable compression system. They all use these gatekeeper straps, and this over the top strap can even be used when you're just using the revolution panel. There are 2 loops running right down the middle of the panel, and you're able to use this over the top strap with that as well. So let's move on to some other rapid adaptable compression system setups. Let me grab some more straps here. Let me grab it. So we can either start by running from the frame straight to the bag here, or there's another set of loops that go to the face of the bag. What I'm going to do is run from the frame to the face of the bag. I'll just start doing that all the way around. All right, so this is a pretty standard use of the rapid adaptable compression system. There are many other uses. You can run from here all the way over to the other side if you want, from the frame all the way over to the side, or just across the face, just along the sides here. I know I didn't do the other side, but you can certainly do the same or a different type of compression than this side. So what this is meant for is to be able to change your compression as the load in your bag changes. When we pack in camp, we are either hunting and we get something down and it goes in the bag, or maybe in between the bag, which we'll go over here in a second. And stuff just needs different compression in different spots at different times. So that's what the rapid adaptable compression system is all about, is being able to take a strap and put it anywhere on the bag that you might need it. Whether it's all along the face or just along the sides. All right, so next thing we will cover is the Revolution breakaway feature. So that's where we break the bag away from the frame and we're able to stick a load down in between the 2. All right, so let's start by loosening up all these straps that I just put on here. Undo everything I just did. And now we are going to take this strap keeper off, this Velcro strap keeper, just because we're gonna need this strap here. So let's take it off. Strong Velcro. All right, now we're going to loosen the straps up here that attach the bag with your 24 to 26 inch frame strap, and we're going to loosen or even detach these straps on the side here. So let's go do that to the other side. Undo the over the top strap. Now you can see our bag is able to break away from the frame. And now these side straps will be nice because once we put this in here, my prop will kind of want to squirt out the sides a little bit, but these straps, the compression is at the right spot for this. So let's loosen these up a little bit. Throw this guy in there. And now you can also take the bag all the way back off the frame, lay it down, and then do this, but for time's sake, I'm just gonna shove it in there. All right, now we have a load in between the bag and the frame, so let's tighten all this back up. Let's get her on the table here. All right, now we're all tightened up. We can go through and add strap keepers. Sometimes I don't even bother, depending on how far I have to go. Now we're gonna come back, add the over the top. And we have put a load in between our backpack, our pack bag, and our Revolution frame. So that is how you use the breakaway system on our Revolution platform. Guys, I know that these are kind of in-depth, maybe possibly complicated backpacks, but truly the most versatile and some of the lightest backpacks out there. Really, you can do a ton of different things, whether it's taking cross stays out, throwing some straps to the side. Like you saw that we didn't really need all these straps just to attach the bag to the backpack. Incredibly versatile, incredibly customizable with the rapid adaptable compression system, the dynamic belt system, the field adjust frame height, and the micro adjustment that you have in your harness. You can really do anything, make it fit you and not just the majority of the population. So guys, this is how you assemble a Revolution platform backpack, whether it's the Peregrine, the Saker, the Goshawk, whatever we have on our Revolution platform, this is how you put it on. It's gonna be the same mostly every single time. So hopefully when you get your backpack, it's a little easier now to kind of go through and make those adjustments to make it fit you. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Lee with Seek Outside. You can find the Peregrine, the other products like the Red Cliff that I have in here as a prop at www.seekoutside.com. I'll put some links in the description below.